Anjana Vyanjana Unmarda Anjana Vyanjana Unmarda Unmarda Stri Avaleka Asamin Madhu Stri Avaleka Misamadhu Sraganda Lepalankaram Tyajeyu Ye Brihadvata Anjana Vyanjano Unmarda Strai Avalekami Sammadhu Sraganda Lepalankaram Tyajeju Ye Brihadvata Anjana ointment or powder for decorating the eyes. You're able to follow? Okay. Abhyanjana, massaging the head. Unmarda, massaging the body. Stri Avaleka, to glance over a woman or to paint a woman's picture. Amisam, meat eating. Madhu, drinking liquor or honey. Srag, decorating the body with garlands of flowers. Gandalepa, smearing the body with scented ointment. Alankaran, decorating the body with ornaments. Tyayeju, must give up. Ye, those who Brihat Vrata have taken the vow of celibacy. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada Ki Jai. So this one doesn't have a purport, so we'll read the next verse with the purport also. So the translation for this verse is Brahmacharis or Grihastas who have taken the vow of celibacy as described above should not indulge in the following: applying powder or ointment to the eyes, massaging the head with oil, massaging the body with hands, seeing a woman or painting a woman's picture, eating meat, drinking wine, decorating the body with flower garlands, smearing scented ointment on the body, or decorating the body with ornaments. These they should give up. This is verse 13 and 14. Usit Vaivam Gurukule Dvijo Diya Vidya Vabudaya Cha Raim Sango Panisadam Yavad Artham Yathabalam Datvavaram Anugyato Guru Khamam Yadishvara Griham Vanam Va Praviset Pravrajet Tatra Vavaset. Translation for this verse and purport. According to the rules and regulations mentioned above, one who is twice born, namely a Brahmana, Kshatriya or Vaishya, should reside in the Gurukula under the care of the spiritual master. There he should study and learn all the Vedic literatures along with their supplements and the Upanishads, according to his ability and power to study. According to his ability and power to study. If possible, the student or disciple should reward the spiritual master with remuneration the spiritual master requests, and then, following the master's order, the disciple should leave and accept one of the other ashramas, namely the Grihastha ashrama, Vanaprastha ashram, or Sannyas ashram, as he desires. Purport. To study the Vedas and understand them, of course, requires some special intelligence. But the members of the three higher sections of society, namely the Brahmana, Kshatriyas and Vaishyas, must learn the Vedic literatures according to their capability and power to understand. In other words, studying the Vedic literatures is compulsory for everyone but the Sudras and the Antajas. The Vedic literature gives the knowledge that can lead one to understand the absolute truth, Brahman, Paramatma or Bhagavan. Gurukula, or the reformatory educational system, should be used only to understand Vedic knowledge. At present time, there are many educational institutions for training and technology But such knowledge has nothing to do with understanding the absolute truth. Technology, therefore, is meant for the Sudras, whereas the Vedas are meant for the Dvijas. Consequently, this verse states, Dvijo titya va budhya cha trayim sangopanishadam. At present time, in the age of Kali, practically everyone is a Sudra and no one is a Dvija. Therefore, the condition of society has very much deteriorated. Another point to be observed from this verse is that from the Brahmachari ashram, one may accept the sannyas ashram, vanaprastha ashram or grihastha ashram. It is not compulsory for a brahmachari to become a grihastha, because the ultimate aim is to understand the absolute truth. There is no necessity of going through all the different ashramas. Thus, one may proceed to the sannyas ashram directly from the brahmachari ashram. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur accepted the sannyas ashram directly from the brahmachari ashram. In other words, His Divine Grace Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur did not think it compulsory to accept the grihastha ashram or vanaprastha ashram. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Devamrita Swaminiti Namane. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pucharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Pasyatya Desadarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you, my obeisances to all the Vaishnavas present here, and also to Aniruddha Prabhu who is not here. I was hoping to get his darshan, but my obeisances to Achinta Rupa Mataji, Aniruddha Prabhu. I can feel their mercy even though they're not here. Feel very welcome and well taken care of. So interesting verse, translation the one we have, that no applying powder or ointment, and no oil massage, no flower gardens. There was a yoga teacher in Los Angeles, and she's gotten one of Prabhupada's books, in spiritual yoga. And then, it's a heavy little book, and so she read the section where Yamunacharya spits at the thought of material desires. So she couldn't understand. She was like, "What's wrong with this guy, Yamunacharya?" For a yoga teacher in Los Angeles, it doesn't make any sense that when she read that without any purification or context, she was bewildered. So for an average person, even for devotees, like a newer devotee, if they read this, it's confusing. But for us, what this verse translates to is that we live simply, and we have to be extremely careful. Prabhupada said the problem with his disciples, what to speak of, the grand disciples, is that they were not afraid of Maya enough. So being extremely careful, because we can't trust the senses. And being extremely careful also means that we have good sadhana. It's not a sentimental thing, it's practical. And engaging in Sankirtan mission. Srila Prabhupada told Giriraj Maharaj that reading my books will keep them, and distributing my books will keep them happy. So right there you have it, the sutra. Reading my books will keep them. So if you want to stay in Krishna consciousness, we have to read Prabhupada books and be happy, then we share Krishna consciousness. And according to this chapter and verses, it shows us everybody needs training. Even a king's child, king's son, would go to Gurukula and just sleep on the floor with other poor children. It's not like, my father is a king, then I'm running around causing havoc. Not no brats allowed. So everybody have to get training, so when they get power and position, then they will know what to do with it, how to behave. So training is so important. I remember when I was first coming along, a new devotee, and this was in Wellington, and my spiritual master came, Devamrita Maharaj came to our apartment, and my mother cooked for him, and he had prasadam. Then my mother said, in a traditional way, anything else I can do for you. And then Maharaj said to her, yes, let your son be a brahmachari. And she almost had a heart attack. And she had to sit down and have some water, and she's like, she said, my son is already a brahmachari. Meaning like this, single teenager. Maharaj said, no, single man doesn't mean a brahmachari. He needs training. He doesn't have training. And then my mother said, what about my gotra, my grandchildren? And Maharaj said, get them from your daughters. Said, Prabhupada went door to door asking, you have so many children, please give me one son, I'll train him to be a devotee. And they said, oh no, our son is meant for technology, IT, Yuga Dharma. So then Maharaj told my mom, don't do the same mistake. Don't be selfish. You have to, serve Krishna, your son. And my mother said, basically, he never listens to me, only listens to you, which is a surprise. Because he wouldn't even wake up past, before 12 o'clock, but now he's waking up at 4 o'clock. I don't know what something you're doing, some magic. So whatever you say, he will do it. And Maharaj asked me, oh, you don't listen to your mom? And my mom was like, no, he doesn't listen to me. He beats me. Beats me, not like abusive way, but playful way. But Maharaj was surprised that he beat her. So he obeisances. So it was a awakening instruction that time, both for my mother and me, that we need training. And here in this verse, it talks about Brihat Vrata, the last line of the Sanskrit. Vrata protects us. Without Vrata, there is no protection. And what to speak of Brihat Vrata? It's very amazing in this day and age. Somebody is able to do the Brihat Vrata, namely the Brahmachari ashram. And it's an art and science. It's not it's not a sentiment. How to do it properly. Otherwise, we won't be able to do it. It's like when Yadubhar Prabhu and his wife, they were traveling with Srila Prabhupada in India, filming and taking pictures. They were new devotees, and they were not even devotees. They just, by good fortune, they met Prabhupada. He gave them a lot of love and guidance, even how to travel in India. So one time Prabhupada asked Yadubhar Prabhu, during the travels, are you practicing Krishna consciousness? And then Prabhu said, no, we don't have sadhana, we're not practicing. And Prabhupada told him, that means you can't stay. And as a new person, he thought Prabhupada meant that, Prabhupada was talking about accommodation with the devotees. But what Prabhupada meant was that if you don't have sadhana, you cannot stay in Krishna consciousness in the long run. So that's a very powerful instruction. Or we stay as an outsider, like we don't deeply enter into the Sankirtan mission, Sankirtan Leela. If we want to be, be in Krishna consciousness in a very convenient way, we practice once in a while. We call them like festival devotees, they come for all the festival and like that. But we cannot experience anything greater with that kind of an approach. And Maya is also very strong. Maya is very strong. Sometimes, even by the time we realize it's already, we already been affected. It's like one of a friend of mine, he went through a brain tumor surgery. And the ordeal he went through is unbelievable, the amount of pain this body can cause. Anyway, so he mentioned that the tumor was there for 10 years. And he just had a blurry vision, so he went to the optometrist. And the optometrist told him, it looks like it's more than your eyesight, you better get it checked. And sure enough, when he did the scan and that, it was showing how this was going on for 10 years. There was hardly any symptom. So sometimes, the Maya is so subtle, we don't even notice it. One of the worst enemy is familiarity when you're practicing Krishna consciousness. From outside, when I see the brahmacharis and so many cooks and 3 pujaris, and what an amazing community. I was here maybe like 16 years ago. But coming back, it's just an amazing experience. But it's easy to become familiar for those who are part of this. Same year, another day, another service. But that's one of the enemies of spiritual life. And naturally we make offenses, and then we become like neglectful, lethargic, so many things. And we don't realize that we are being affected. So we always have to be careful. We always have to be careful and take guidance from somebody from outside, how I'm doing. It's like one devotee, God brother, asked me, he said, I'm thinking whether I should be a brahmachari or not. What do you think? I was like, oh. Brihad Vrata means if you ask if you should be brahmachari or not, you're almost pretty much finished at that stage. You lost something. There's something happened that looks innocent from the question, but being there, I was there before. I've even talked to senior devotees that were like brahmacharis for 30 years, and one day they wake up and like, oh, actually, I want to be married. After 30 years. So it didn't happen that overnight, there was something there. So we have to be careful. Nobody falls down by being extra careful. Otherwise it feels like like a punishment. One brahmachari actually went to an astrologer, and the astrologer looked at his chart and said, did you he was ex-brahmachari. He just got out of the brahmachari ashram, he's checking the astrology to get married. And the astrologer asked him, like, did you just get out of prison? And the devotee is like, what do you mean? He says, you were wearing orange clothes, you ate on the floor, you had many cellmates or roommates, and you were told what to do. And was showing in his chart that he had a very austere period in his just recently. And the devotee was saying, no, I was just wearing orange saffron as a brahmachari, not as a prisoner. So it could feel like that if it's not done properly. And I was also thinking, like reading these verses, how Prabhupada said his books are like pharmacy. So you go to a pharmacy, there's so much medicine available, medication. Doesn't mean like you can just take anything. We need particular medicine for our situation and condition. Similarly, we need guidance. Krishna consciousness is very personal, actually, very personal. It's not like one size fits all. Everybody is different, everybody needs are different. So when we are open for guidance from people that have done it before us, then we get help. There's plenty of help. In that sense, we are more fortunate than the devotees that were with Prabhupada, because back then, devotees were new and made a lot of mistakes. Like Prabhupada, I saw this photo of Prabhupada sitting in the Macmillan office in Japan with Karandar Prabhu, negotiating the Bhagavad Gita printing. And this Prabhu looks like a little boy. I mean, he was. Here is Prabhupada, not only a saint, but also materially speaking older and wise. And there's this young, what do we know when you're like 17, 18? We think you know everything, but Prabhupada was there like teaching. So back then, devotees were young and they made a lot of mistakes. For us, we have so much guidance and experienced devotees available. So we take guidance, ask questions, like Prabhupada said. We should surrender using our intelligence, not surrender our intelligence. So we have to see what exactly needs to be done, and then we do the needful. Otherwise, the example is given of some foolish disciple. They had a gathering, like a potluck, and one of them, I think, he brought some beef or something to the gathering. And everybody was shocked. And they asked him, what is this? He said, our Guru Maharaj said that the cow is the purest and that we should eat pure foodstuffs. And the other foolish disciples said, next time we should eat Guru Maharaj because he is the purest. So how we translate, even in our society, right, same books we all read, but there's so much conflict. Because devotees are very intelligent on both sides. They know exactly how to read something and use it in their favor. Like, Prabhupada said this, no, Prabhupada said this, but we're all reading the same books. So we shouldn't speculate half-hand philosophy, but we should take guidance. And then Prabhupada was very practical. He always told us, do the needful. We have to do the needful so we can serve the Sankirtan mission. I remember I was 1 year in Auckland, Brahmachari ashram. My health was not good. But everybody there was, healthy, Kiwi, brahmacharis. And they all ate like salad for dinner. There was no heating, it's an old home with no insulation. Wind would just pass through the house, gushing wind. By the time I wake up, there'll be no hot water left. It's all cold, ice cold. So I wrote to my Guru Maharaj and said, I can't do this. And then he said, you can't do what? I said, it's too austere here. No heater, nothing. He said, I didn't send you to be a martyr, he said. It's a martyr, like somebody that dies for a religious cause. So he said, get heater, get a mattress, take care of what you need so you can rest nicely, wake up and go on Sankirtan. So even in the beginning days of Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada always told the devotees, whatever you need to do to take care of the body so we can do Krishna's service. Very practical. So this is what we follow. How something that was spoken millions of years ago, by the example and teachings of Prabhupada and his disciples, we can understand how to apply this in this day and age. How can you live in Melbourne and not look at a woman or, not use soap or flowers? It's not very practical. But for us, we see what Prabhupada did. They asked Prabhupada was taking, what is it called? Maple syrup in Canada. The devotees asked Prabhupada, it says in the Bhagavatam that we shouldn't take the tree sap. One of the things mentioned, like we don't drink tree sap. And Prabhupada said, I know, but it tastes damn good. It was, so practical. Sometimes, it says you don't drink carbonated water with the bubbles. Sometimes Prabhupada had 7. Prabhupada got massage. He was worshipped everywhere where he went with fancy oils and milk and garlands. And he was riding in like Rolls Royce here when he came. So we have to follow that dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhayam mahajana enagata sapanta. This is the very topmost secret, this scriptures. But how can we understand this message is through following the footsteps of the recent acharyas. Then they make it easy for us. Like they say that the newborn baby cannot eat rice, dal, vegetables, and die. But the mother eats it and transforms into milk, breast milk, and then feeds the baby, then the baby can digest that. So who can understand Vedas in this day and age? We can't even understand Bhagavad Gita. We meet people on the streets all the time, they're like so proud, oh yeah, I'm a Brahmin and this, that. Do you have Vedas? They always ask me, do you have the 4 Vedas? I'm like, what will you understand from the 4 Vedas? You're running a liquor store, or you have a gas station. Like some Sudra person, but because they have a last name that's, Brahmin, Brahma Bandhu. So we're proud, but who can understand these things? So, I was remembering how in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Mahaprabhu would have all these confidential kirtans with his associates. One time Mahaprabhu was asking Srivas Thakur, I'm not feeling the ecstasy today. Is there anybody that's not supposed to be here? They are here. And Srivas Thakur was thinking, this is a pure brahmachari is hiding. And he only drinks milk, he's so pious. So what's wrong? And Mahaprabhu asked him again, is there anybody here that's an outsider? And Srivas Thakur told him, no, one brahmachari is here, but he only drinks milk. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told him, get him out of here immediately. I don't want him here. Not just because he's austere that, he can please my heart. He's an outsider. One time, I think, another time, Srivas Thakur's mother-in-law was hiding also, watching him. So like this, Mahaprabhu didn't care of this so-called austerity. We're not dry, austere people. We are devotees. That's what is pleasing. Like example of Pundarik, Vidyanidhi is given the Chaitanya Bhagavat. Pundarik Vidyanidhi had so much opulence. Externally, he wanted to hide his devotion, and he had, he was chewing pan. He had a mirror that he would look at himself with fancy oil-combed hair and smile at himself. He had a deep wood bed frame and silk bed and people massaging him and fanning him and performing for him. He had like grapes and you name it. He had such opulent setup. So Mukunda wanted to show his greatness to the Navadvip devotees. So Mukunda said to Gadadhar, let's go see one amazing devotee. I want to introduce you. And Gadadhar Pandit, simple brahmachari, he went and saw this and he's like, Sri Vishnu, Sri Vishnu. Just by seeing this person, I feel contaminated, he was thinking. And knowing the mind of Gadadhar, Mukunda started singing this prayer from the Srimad Bhagavatam, where it mentions that Krishna is so kind. Even though Putana came to give him breast milk with poison, Krishna took the milk and gave her the position of a Datri in the spiritual world, a nurse. So when he sang this verse, the mercy of Krishna, how amazing is the mercy of Krishna. Pundarik Vidyanidhi lost it. He went into ecstasy. It says the ecstatic symptoms was competing with each other. And he destroyed everything. Grapes went flying in one direction and pan went flying in another. 10 men couldn't hold him down. He was screaming. He said, even Putana got so much mercy. I'm so fallen, I'm not getting any mercy from Krishna. And he went into unconscious, ecstatic state for 6 hours, it said. And Gadadhar was realizing, I made an offense. I made an offense to Vaishnava from an external appearance. So he said this to Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya told him that, Pundarik is like my father. Because he's Vrishabhanu Maharaj in Krishna Leela Pundarik. So Lord Chaitanya told, for this offense you must take initiation from him and do service for Pundarik Vidyani. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita and in Krishna consciousness, so many examples. That doesn't quite match this, but the point is the devotion. If we have devotion, Krishna overlooks our shortcoming, especially Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Without Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and holy name, we have nothing going for us in Kali Yuga. But if we have devotion, then what happens is Bhagavatam says like a coconut. Over time, the coconut, the inside the coconut meat, the pulp, becomes dry and separates itself from the shell. So when you shake it, you can hear how it's different from the shell. So like that, over time, we have to be patient. Utsaha, Nishchaya, Dharya. Patience, enthusiasm, determination. The problem is nowadays we come from such Rajoguna society that we don't have patience. We're chanting for like few years. Somebody went to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and said, I'm not feeling anything. Back then Bhaktisiddhanta used to tell him to chant 64 rounds. So one disciple said to Bhaktisiddhanta, I'm not feeling anything. And Bhaktisiddhanta asked him, how long have you been chanting? He said 15 years. And Bhaktisiddhanta let go a sigh of relief. Oh, I was worried for a second that you were a very senior devotee. But you just 15 years, so you're okay. Just keep going. Somebody chanting 64 rounds for 15 years, Bhaktisiddhanta said, you have long ways to go. So we have to be patient, but the process works. And then we develop taste and detachment and knowledge. It's a byproduct. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha. Chanayati Asu Vairagyam Jnanam Shayat Mahaitava. That by serving Vasudeva, the byproduct is, we develop knowledge and detachment. So the things that are seemingly difficult now, it gets better. And by, practicing, Krishna says, through practice and detachment, we can conquer the enemy known as lust. Bhagavatam says, Khalau dosha nide rachin asti eku mahadguna kirtana deva krishnasya mukta sangha param. There is ocean of faults. And we come from that. But there is one good quality, Bhagavatam says, which is, we have kirtana deva krishnasya. We have Krishna kirtan, which is our only hope. So the Vedic scriptures say the mantras become more powerful the more you chant it. So the more we chant it, the more we will develop strength and love for Krishna. There is no other secret. If we chant nicely, then we will have a smooth sailing in Krishna consciousness. Like the example of a guy who was trying to cut down a huge tree with a blunt axe. And somebody said to him, "Why don't you sharpen your axe?" And he said, "Oh, I don't have time." So you would rather cut down, struggle like anything to cut down a tree with a blunt axe, but you won't take time to sharpen that. So sometimes, many times we feel like, oh, I will make it in my Krishna consciousness somehow or other without good sadhana, but then become very troublesome. Doesn't have to be like that. Especially if you're supposed to awaken love for chanting. So we're not even in the beginning stages. How are we going to attain perfection? So we have a lot of work to do. So chanting nicely and reading Prabhupada's books daily, then we can do the impossible. Namely, follow the regulated principles and be enthusiastic in Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, it's going so much going against us in terms of spiritual life. Materially speaking, there's a lot of facility available. Spiritually, it's like in dark times or spiritual environment. So this is like we chant, like our life depends on it, and it does. Recently I was in Sadhu Sangha retreat in Dallas. We were in Japa circle. All the Gurudev, all the Maharajas, they were chanting Vaisheshika Prabhu, Radhanath Maharaj. And Radhanath Maharaj was chanting Japa. And it was already time that everybody had to get up and set up for Guru Puja. But the disciples are not able to get his attention to wake him up, to get up. So the devotee had to go like this. Then Maharaj, it's almost like he came out of somewhere. And I was thinking, my life is never the same after seeing that. I know I'm in a way that, when I'm chanting, I'm thinking the samadhi. How can we help? We don't have it. We don't have the reserve. We don't have it. So the chanting, when will the day come? Maybe by all your blessings I can chant nicely. But it's another level of chanting. Therefore, these devotees are able to influence and help. It's not a sentimental thing. It's a very dynamic process. If we want it. Like I was a manager as a brahmachari in Los Angeles temple, and I would be chanting in the temple room. You know what it's like? Somebody comes and Prabhu this, Prabhu that. And my Gurudev was there in the temple room and he was watching. And after he said to me, just being a nice guy is not enough. He said, you have to be diligent in your chanting. He said, do you know what the word diligent means? He said, look it up. He said, if you sit in a place where people are going to come and disturb your chanting, it's not good for your spiritual life, for you, especially as a brahmachari in Los Angeles. He said, if you're a brahmachari in Los Angeles for 5 years, it's like somewhere else, brahmachari for 15 years. So it's a serious thing. It's a serious thing, But it's really cool that we can have spiritual life within this material world, which is an amazing thing if you think about it. We can have spiritual world within this dead material world. But it comes with a price. You cannot just cruise. It takes dedication. Krishna wants to see the tears. Then he appears. Otherwise he doesn't come. So I'll stop here. Does anybody have any hoping to hear from some of the senior devotees here, but somehow I'm speaking. I wanted to hear from Gokul Vrindesh Prabhu, or Aniruddha Prabhu, or Dvijaya Prabhu. But the funny thing is, I went to New Zealand. There's an outreach center in Wellington, Bhakti Lounge, and they're really successful in attracting Westerners. So for my family, we paid $10,000 for this trip to get there. So I was really eager to catch the last Sunday of the year to see how they were doing. And then the day off, I get a message requesting me to speak at the festival. And I was like, I came to witness, I didn't come to speak. But they're like, no, we all want to hear you. So it's like Krishna's sense of humor. So does anything you want to? Yes, Paul.
The status of being a brahmachari is that you not married, or after marriage also one can become a brahmachari?
That's a good question. So brahmachari is one who is celibate. He is single and is in the Guru's ashram wearing saffron. But this Vedic scripture mentioned a grihastha or a married person, if he has sex only to produce Krishna conscious children, otherwise no connection even with the wife, so that person is also a brahmachari. So he is a grihastha brahmachari. But generally we understand that somebody that's under the Guru's guidance, they're not married, they don't have bank account, they're living simply, they're dedicating their life to Krishna. Like the Prabhus we have in the back, they are the brahmacharis. But there's a Krishna conscious way of seeing how even Prabhupada explains how even a grihastha can function like a sannyasi in terms of their consciousness. If you're living only to serve the mission of the Guru, you're as good as a sannyasi. Even if you're a married person, the question of consciousness is not a beard or the danda. Somebody asked Prabhupada, what is this danda for? He said, there's so many dogs in Juhu Beach, just to scare them away. He was joking, like people's understanding. Is there anything else? Yes. Yeah, so if for example, I was, again, it's different for every person. Generally, if you're from a devotee family, then you're blessed, you can practice at home and like that. But I was a young boy, I didn't have anything much going for me. I didn't have any obligations, and I was eager to sell a lot of books. So Maharaj said, then I can go to the ashram. So again, for each individual, we have to consult with our spiritual master, what's the best thing for us. If, for example, like for you, I recognize you because I watch a lot of videos from Melbourne, Mahaprabhu Mandir, and Devamrita Swami speaking, and he always makes fun of you. Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Thank you for the wonderful class. So for you, you can ask for your situation, but you're blessed. You're so blessed. You have Krishna consciousness and no impediments at home to practice. And you're also getting education. And generally the girls, what I've seen is, the parents or the spiritual master arrange for a nice devotee husband and like that. But the point is the service. All of us can serve. There is no excuse, there are no impediments to service. No gender, any gender can serve, any age, any financial status, anybody can serve. So, but the question is, lately I've been praying to Prabhupada and Krishna, Guru Maharaj, that I'm praying, like, please reveal to me that what is my service. I'm doing so many things, but I haven't figured out, like, what am I good at? What is my service? And put like all our heart into that. Some devotees, they lead kirtan like fish in the water. Some are really good cooks. Some give classes, some sell books. So it's very natural and they really get into it. So we have to find out from our spiritual master like, our service and work on it. Yes, bro.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much for the class. And you've been distributing books for 25 years, and you are very successful in distributing Srimad Bhagavad courses, hundreds of them on car parks and shopping malls and different places. So it is really inspiring for all of us to hear something about distribution, motivation, how you do it, because you are a grahastha, you have family, you have a child still, you're distributing every day. So would you like to share something that may be inspiring for all of us?
Yeah, thank you. What I'm noticing is what's stopping the devotees from distributing books is the attachment, the fear of being rejected. That's it. So usually we worried about the money. Like any new devotee when they come, how much, so it's ingrained in us that we have to do huge, like we have to go out and do like 100 Mahabhi and collect 1,000 Lakshmi or something like that. But it's not like that, especially for us in this day and age where most devotees have money. Back in the day, devotees would go and sell a Back to Godhead magazine and get a quarter, 25 cents for it. And they bring all these coins to the treasurer and they ate in the wax paper, khichdi and breadstick and no money. We're not like that now. One devotee I was talking to in Wellington, he's very successful materially. So he wanted to go on book distribution, and we were talking, and then so I was telling him like, don't hold back, because he was like this, like showing the books like this. He said, no, give them the book, don't be scared. Let them take it. Even if they don't give anything, you're a millionaire, you can pay $3 for a happiness book, it's Christmas marathon, you're a grihastha, it's yours, offering to Krishna. And he goes, oh, really, I can do that? I said, yeah. And so what I'm noticing is that the Lakshmi, we're so scared of Lakshmi, so if we go out to help someone, it's not about us. See, we always make everything about us, but when we're doing Sankirtan, it's about them. We're not the center. spotlight. We go out and make at least one person fortunate. What madness is going on in all the cities of the world? Wherever you go, is the same looking. People's ears are plugged and we don't know whether it's boy or girl anymore. They all have a dog and anxiety and rushing here and there. It's just like madness. I was feeling overwhelmed standing yesterday in Swanson Street. I just was chanting and taking pranayama. I said, don't get involved in this speed. You're not in any marathon, you're not in any competition. Just was praying to Krishna, please allow one or two sweet exchanges. I was in my prayer. And sure enough, after an hour and a half, I had a breakthrough. It's like japa. You chant 13 rounds, then you realize, oh my God, I'm feeling something. But if you stop it at 9 rounds, you're not going to feel. So Sankirtan is also like that. We are in the sadhana stage of Sankirtan, namely, we are not experts, we're not even good at it, we don't even like it, but we owe debt. We are debtors, so we have to go out for our purification. It's a very purifying process. I pray like anything. The moment I carry my book bag and I'm dropped off in the street, I start praying, even unconsciously, like so much. That's so good for one's spiritual development. And we give a book or two. So what? Even if you didn't make anything, or you made 50 or 100, but our society is different now. Nobody is, pressuring anybody to collect or numbers or like that, especially if you're households. You can go out and have fun. I just go out and love to meet people and be outdoors, and it's my favorite service. So that's what I'm emphasizing wherever I'm going, that don't be so attached to the results. Just go out to show compassion. Just like most of us, we got a book. It's not like we paid top dollar to get a book. Somehow, the mercy came to us. So we're just like instrument of compassion. Same thing with the Bhagavatam said. I was in Wellington recently, and one young man, first person, just finished setting up table, one young man walked by and said, hi. And he's like, hi. He came over and he was like, I thought he was a born-again Christian or something. He was like really receptive. But he was like super favorable. So I gave him a happiness book and he gave me a bill and he walked away. I don't even recognize New Zealand money anymore. So after he walked away, I looked at it, it was $50 for a little book. So my wife said to me, why didn't you show him the Bhagavatam set? And I usually do, but this was the first person and he caught me off guard. So I was like, I didn't even think about it. It happened so fast. So next 2 hours, I'm just searching for him now. Because I remember he had a motorbike jacket on. I'm like, where is this guy? His name was Ethan. I'm like, where is Ethan? Where is he? And sure enough, I asked the team to pray that this guy comes back. I looked back, he was leaving behind me, like he was going home. So I ran after him. I said, Ethan. He was like, oh yeah, hi. I said, my wife said I should give you more books and she gave a nice donation. He came back, then I showed him the Bhagavatam. And he goes, the whole thing? I said, yeah. I said, I'm on a motorbike. And the devotee said, it's okay, we'll drop it off in your house. He said, give me 1 second. So he ran to his bike and he measured it. And he figured out it'll actually fit. So one devotee carried the Bhagavatam set to his motorbike, and in the front compartment, 8 volumes fit, in the back compartment, 8 volumes fit, and he just drove off with the Bhagavatam. He only gave me $50. And I told him, hey, this cost a little bit more for shipping and printing. This come from India. is there any way you can give more? And he gladly gave another 100. And still it was not enough. Because in New Zealand the set is 300. And immediately like about 3 devotees came forward and gave the rest to cover the set. Just our hairs were standing on end to see somebody just in the street want to take a full Bhagavatam, and the devotees are like, here, let's all pitch in and cover it. If I didn't even worry about money at that time. I didn't even think about what's going to happen, but I know there's lots of money going around, but there's not many people that want Bhagavatam set. So money we can collect, but find a hungry person, that's so rare. So if we find someone, let them have a Bhagavatam set. What are we earning for? So that's my humble realization, to go out every day as part of sadhana, or at least the weekends. And show mercy, show compassion, and don't hold back. The book should be close to our chest, it should be in their chest. Let them hold it. Nothing will happen. They always give it back if we don't need to be scared, but they have to have the book. Somebody else had their hand up? Should we stop? Jai Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Sri